What's going on, everyone? Tarisland, an upcoming MMORPG, just the other day released a bunch of additional information about their game, including a developer letter where they go into more detail about what their plans are for the game. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar, Tarisland has essentially been dubbed the WoW clone of all WoW clones, in probably the most literal sense for any MMOs to date. The game was originally announced back in January by Tencent, but on Twitter recently, they've stated that they're actually planning to have an upcoming beta in June, as well as globally releasing later this year. So, in the span of less than a year of announcing their game, they're already looking to release it, which begs the question a little bit of how long have they actually been working on this game? Obviously, long before World of Warcraft chose to discontinue its service there. Maybe it's something that they were always anticipating happening. Now, in their Twitter post where they talk about releasing later this year, they also go on to state that they are striving to create a non-pay-to-win MMORPG on PC and mobile, featuring raids, diverse classes and builds, and a vast world for exploration. This is something that they've really harped on a lot since they first announced that their goal is for no pay-to-win. The question really is going to be what is considered no pay to win to them, because it's a very muddied term here in the West, because there are people that say WoW isn't pay to win, but then WoW also falls under the direct category of pay to win because you can literally inject your credit card and buy gold. But people overlook that a lot of the time. Now, the thing is that pay to win has so many different terms that this game could very well be pay to win. It just may not fall under normal traditional terms of pay to win. We're going to have to wait and see. It could be simply something in the format of being able to buy something on the store and sell it in game, even if it's just cosmetic. That still indirectly allows you to monetarily benefit through in-game means by using your credit card. But, that's going to have to be left up to the players to decide individually. Lastly, alongside their other posts, they also released a developer letter where they go into more details about the game and its systems with what they have planned for it. Getting into it, dear adventurer, we are the Tarisland team. We're thrilled to finally meet all of you. Tarisland is a project that our team has been passionately working on for the past 3 years. Oh, so the game's been in development for about 3 years now. That's really quick for an MMO to turn around its development. For some of us, it's a game that we have been dreaming of creating and sharing with all of you for almost a decade. So I guess concept-wise, it's been in planning for about 10 years, but official development time, 3 years. Still really fast. In a nutshell, Tarisland is a non-pay-to-win, really harping on that no pay-to-win again, no attribute-enhancing items for sale here, MMORPG set in a Western fantasy world available on both mobile and PC platforms. So they really are trying to hone down on this whole no pay-to-win thing. And obviously, any game studio is going to do that when they're promoting the release of their game, because that's just better publicity for your game. But this is ultimately going to come down to what they actually do monetize. Is there going to be an optional sub? Is there going to be convenience that you have to pay for, like bag space and stuff like that? Because people will consider those things pay to win, having to pay for convenience in that regard. It gets left by the wayside in some other titles oftentimes, but people will still consider those things pay to win. Now, the no attribute enhancing items for sale here. Just because you don't sell attribute enhancing items doesn't mean there can't be pay to win, even if it's in a more non-direct format. Say, for example, the WoW token. Like if they have an optional sub, is there going to be a way through in-game means to pay for it, like with gold? And then is there going to be something like a WoW token where you can buy it and sell it for gold, and people then being able to buy it with gold, and that type of way of being able to legally sell gold within the game? So those are going to be the questions that people are really going to have ultimately around the pay to win, and truly what is going to be monetized for the game. We aim to create a vast world where everyone can enjoy the adventure without being bothered by various in-game purchases that boost combat power. You can explore the expansive world, venture into dungeons with friends, defeat legendary creatures, interact with thousands of other players, and share tales of your adventures along the way. We can't wait to see the stories that are about to unfold, and hope that Tarisland will allow anyone to experience the magic of MMOs once again. We are also excited to introduce more features of the game to you. No pay to win. Uh, they're really honing down on this no pay to win thing. They've even added it here with its own category. Our goal is to create a high quality and sustainable game ecosystem. There are no attribute enhancing items sold, so there's no unfair diminishing of a character's combat power. Again, this is good that it's being said. This is, ideal that there would be no way for anybody to buy power. And if that does end up being the case, fantastic. But you need to understand that just because you can't directly buy power through them from an item, there are still ways to incorporate pay to win, like we've said before. Seasonal system. We've introduced a seasonal approach to gameplay, with each season bringing updated PvE content, gameplay balances, and PvP challenges. It's a fresh starting line for everyone to embark on new adventures together, leveling up and acquiring new equipment. There's no pressure for beginners, and returning players won't be left behind. This is an interesting approach if they go full seasonal with it, where everybody has to reset every season, let's say every 6 months. Because seasons already kind of like pseudo exist in MMOs, but people do not like having to necessarily start over. The only ones who ever did were like Arcade players doing, fresh starts every 6 months nonstop for the last 10 years. But most people like being able to have their one character continually existing and progressing and being what they are collecting all their mounts and cosmetics on, even if their gear progression is essentially resetting every X major update. For example, World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy, every major patch or every major expansion essentially is a reset because the gear from the previous patch and expansion no longer is valid or matters. It is basically a reset on the character. Now, if they go for a full seasonal reset where everybody's wiped and has to level up again, depending on how that leveling goes, that could get very tedious for people, and a lot of people may not like that. People typically do not like wiping progression in an MMO, but it's really going to depend on how they incorporate it. It is an interesting take for them to go with it, as it can work, as it will be able to also just constantly bring people back every seasonal launch, like it does in ARPGs as well. The question is going to be that retention for the duration of the season. Diverse classes and attributes. Tarisland offers classic professions, which are their classes, and talent customization. Each profession has 2 types of specializations to choose from, along with 41 of the 81 talents and their corresponding tree. So subtle differences will eventually add up to a higher degree of differentiation. So I guess all the classes are going to have 2 specs, and you're going to have a very lengthy talent tree that you're going to be able to pick and choose talents like you did in the old talent trees of WoW and the new talent tree again. But overall, I'm sure people will have, for the most part, a lot of the same builds with a few knick-knacky different talents along the way, just to change things up based on their preferences. But, I'm sure it'll all get min-maxed like it always does in MMOs, and everybody will ultimately end up with the same build nonetheless. Raid, a dangerous world. Tarisland provides a unique dungeon experience. You'll face monsters and bosses for loot, requiring you to constantly challenge yourself, master strategies, exercise teamwork, and improve your skills. Each raid features multiple phases, offering new experiences, changing scenery, and complex mechanics. Conquer Tarisland's most powerful raid bosses for a chance at a big reward system. Now, they've talked about their raid sizes a little bit. They're starting off with 5 to 10 man raids and dungeons, and they're looking to expand into 20 and 40 man content. Hopefully not so much 40 man content, as that can get a little more chaotic and difficult to organize. 20 man would be a good max limit, but 5 and 10 man just for optimization purposes. And, very typical, raid environment. Raiding is a very traditional thing in MMOs, so nothing too out of the ordinary there with that. Free trading system. We're committed to restoring the freedom of trade in the end game and creating an economic system that closely resembles a real market. This is going to be really appealing to some and a really big turnoff to others, as that oftentimes can result in players looking to abuse certain things or find a way to exploit a market or just be able to manipulate it, which some people really like, to where it is not beneficial for the average player. So it'll be interesting to see how the free trading system ultimately plays out and how integral the crafting or economic side of the game is actually going to impact the player experience. Cross-platform, we've achieved a fully two-way interaction between PC and mobile devices. The customizable PC control interface offers a unique gaming experience, highlighting the differences between platforms. Oh, so it sounds like you're going to be able to customize your interface on PC so that it doesn't look like the mobile UI, which is great, as oftentimes that is a huge thing with titles that do start on mobile as well and then be on PC, is they often just port it over and it's the exact same UI and everybody hates it. But if you're able to customize it to your own liking, cool, great. This time, we're back to the core of the MMO, drawing every frame to the smallest detail and honing every inch of gameplay. There's a lot of work to still be done before the official launch. If you're interested in following our progress and interacting with our team, please follow our official communities and join our Discord, where we'll be regularly sharing updates. So, this is the current state of where the game is going and what their plans are for it. No deep information about PvP at the moment, but they did talk about it existing. And again, it really just seems like they're trying super hard to hone down on this whole no pay to win thing, but we're really just going to have to see how that shakes out. I'm curious to see what the game is actually going to be like as a longtime WoW player. It is obviously intriguing to look at. There are a lot of similarities in the design and the art style and the character models, but I'll be curious to see what the differences really are between the two and how it shakes out overall. But that is the recent update on Tarisland, y'all. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe, and as always, take care and have a good one.